Good afternoon. My name is Enrique Sanchez. I am the Intermountain State Director for the American Business Immigration Coalition. ABIC is a national bipartisan coalition of over 1,200 CEOs and employers that promotes sensible immigration reform that supports the economy of the United States, provides American companies with both the high-skilled and low-skilled talent they need, and allows the integration of immigrants into our economy as consumers, workers, entrepreneurs, and citizens. We are excited to be one step closer to our goal after the House's vote on Tuesday. This vote, following the Senate's recent approval of a budget resolution, cues up considerations next month for the budget reconciliation bill that should include pathways to citizenship for Dreamers, farm workers, TPS permit holders, and essential workers who continue to dedicate themselves to their work on the front lines of the COVID-19 crisis. Immigration provisions belong in the reconciliation bill because they impact federal spending and revenues. As our co-chair, Senator Bob Worsley will discuss, ABIC worked very hard to try to achieve a bipartisan deal. We were unsuccessful, and now reconciliation is the best, maybe only way forward to pass common sense immigration that grows our national GDP, stimulates job growth, and raises the wage floor for all American workers. Legalization and citizenship boosts economic activity by $121 billion a year. If paths to legalization and citizenship for Dreamers, farm workers, TPS permit holders, and essential workers were created, federal, state, and local tax revenues would increase by $31 billion each year. Legalization addresses acute labor shortage across sectors. Our economy has 10.1 million job openings, 3.1 million job openings in the South alone. Providing a path to permanence for undocumented immigrants already contributing will unleash their economic potential and ease our nation's acute labor shortage. My own story shows that immigrants are here for work, and we are already making vital contributions to our communities. My family and I immigrated to the United States in 2000, when I was only 2 years old. I've lived my entire life in the state of Utah, and I am a DACA recipient and a dreamer myself. Since I was 8 years old, I dreamt of joining law enforcement. I was disappointed to learn that because of my immigration status, I am barred from becoming a police officer. A pathway to citizenship currently in the reconciliation bill would remove barriers that stand in mine and many other dreamers' way of achieving our dreams. DACA has provided me and several other 1,000 young adults opportunities to continue higher education and contribute to this country, our country. Every day across the country, nearly 2 million young people with and without DACA are denied opportunities to contribute and protect our communities, economy, and country. DACA recipients are in all 50 states. We are your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, and your classmates. While we may not be American on paper, we are American in every other way. I would now like to introduce Senator Bob Worsley, ABIC co-chair, founder of Sky Mall, and former Republican member of the Arizona State Senate. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Enrique. I met Enrique the first time when the mayor of Salt Lake City was heartbroken and crestfallen that he couldn't hire him as a police officer after graduating top of his class in the academy to become a police officer in Salt Lake City. I'm grateful he's on our team now, helping us in the Intermountain area. I'm retired Arizona State Senator Bob Worsley, and I am the co-chair of ABIC. I am also the founder of Sky Mall, which I sold to Rupert Murdoch in 2001. I am and have served in a number of leadership callings in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I served for 3 terms as a Republican state senator in Arizona. I primaried and defeated the anti-immigrant Senate president who sponsored Arizona SB 1070, the original Show Me Your Papers bill, showing you that you can be pro-immigrant and win a Republican primary. Through my faith and work, I know undocumented immigrants. They are hardworking, wonderful family and faith-oriented people. I believe we need to legalize dreamers, farm workers, and essential workers for our nation and our economy to be stronger. ABIC has met with over 41 Republican senators in DC and hosted over 50 town hall meetings with Republican and Democratic senators. We prefer working with both parties. but we do not see good faith negotiations coming from the Republicans since they have concluded it's a good political wedge issue for 2022 midterms. Any bipartisan traction we had has been lost. We thank President Biden and Senate Leader Schumer for supporting immigration reform in the budget resolution process. We urge Democrats to do everything they can to legalize hardworking immigrants through this reconciliation process. Immigration reform is a perfect candidate for this. Immigration reform will have major implications for federal revenues, boosting national GDP by $121 billion a year that Enrique mentioned. Exactly the kind of economic and budget considerations reconciliation is designed to address. We are launching this campaign to finally get immigration reform across the finish line. Immigration is an economic prosperity for all issue. It's not a race issue. The far right will soon be drowned out by the hue and cry for more workers, filling jobs, and paying into the Social Security system to help keep it solvent. It is inevitable that this groundswell asking for workers will grow, and it will force the anti-immigrant crowd to step aside while we allow more immigration to occur in our country, which will save our economy. Thank goodness we have hard workers who want to immigrate to America from diverse backgrounds. It will make our country stronger. Specifically relevant to Arizona, with nearly 920,000 foreign-born residents, Arizona is now the 11th highest immigrant population in the United States. In Arizona, new Americans work as everything from entrepreneurs to farm workers, making them essential contributors to the state's overall economic prosperity. In Arizona, there are over 71,000 immigrant entrepreneurs who create a business income of $1.7 billion. Immigrants in Arizona have a household income of $31 billion. They contribute almost $8 billion in local, state, and federal taxes and have a spending power of $23 billion. There are over 37,000 DACA-eligible youth residing in Arizona. They hold spending power of $600 million and pay over $180 million in state, local, and federal income taxes each year. The Texas-based federal judge Hanen, his recent negative decision on DACA is a prime example of the urgent need to protect dreamers. It's now up to U.S. Senate to protect almost 2 million dreamers from deportation by including DACA provisions in the reconciliation. Inaction by Congress would kneecap our recovery by ending work permits for hundreds of thousands of dreamers as the economy struggles to find workers. Without the inclusion of dreamers in reconciliation, DACA recipients would now be deportable. With 96% of them employed, the removal of DACA recipients would devastate the economy. Just in Arizona, the removal of close to 37,000 DACA youth in the state would cost Arizona $410 million. Removing dreamers would also cause annual GDP loss of $1.3 billion to Arizona's economy. The vast majority of DACA eligible population, 82%, have graduated from high school and taken at least one college course. Over 69% of those who voted for Donald Trump in 2016 say dreamers should be protected. Over 50% of Republican voters and the majority of US voters agree that eliminating DACA is bad for our country. According to Pew Research, 80% of all voters believe in protecting the dreamers. At least 80% of Americans support policies keeping dreamers in America. In 4 CNN polls from fall of 2017 until now, between 80% and 84% of the public supported a policy keeping dreamers in the country. The CNN numbers closely echo those from other national polls, each of which found that at least 80% of the public supported protecting and legalizing dreamers. There's also 1,070 temporary protected status holders in Arizona, including TPS holders in paths to citizenship through reconciliation would provide a pathway to permanency of an estimated 650,000 TPS holders nationally, including more than 320,000 Venezuelans. The average TPS holder has been in the country for more than 20 years, contributed to our economy, and helped us rebuild and recover from the pandemic. Many of them are mixed citizen immigrant families who have purchased homes and opened businesses, pay taxes, attend schools and places of worship. Despite being an integral part of our communities, TPS holders live in a constant state of uncertainty. They need to reapply for the program every 6 to 18 months and pay substantial fees. Let's talk about our farm workers in Arizona. Foreign-born workers account for 17% of the employed population in Arizona, but immigrants account for 74% of farm laborers who handpick fresh fruit and vegetables in the fields. According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, the existing agricultural visa system causes numerous issues for states such as Arizona, and U.S. farmers find that the H-2A visa program, which is intended to bring in temporary farm laborers, is expensive and demanding. Without reforms to the current system, the economic stability of our agricultural industry is endangered. A path to immigration status for undocumented farm workers is critically important to our nation's food and agriculture system. A more stable farm workforce means greater food safety and security for all Americans. Nationwide, 69% of all immigrants, including 74% of undocumented immigrants, are essential workers. In Arizona, nearly 1 in 6 of all essential workers are immigrants. I urge Senator Kelly and Sinema, as a Republican, a person of faith, and a businessman, that they vote for and support common sense immigration solutions, offering a path to citizenship or at least irrevocable legal status for dreamers, TPS recipients, farm workers, and essential workers through reconciliation. I would now like to take the pleasure to introduce Representative Michelle Udall, a very dear friend of mine who serves in the Arizona House during much of the time I served in the Senate. She is a dear friend and colleague. We represented the same 220,000 people in Mesa, Arizona. And while we are both conservative Republicans, we have been willing to be pragmatic. She led the effort a few months ago in the House to refer the DACA in-state college tuition bill to the ballot in 2022. Thank you, Michelle. Please take it from here.
Thank you, Senator Worsley. My name is Michelle Udall, and I am proud to advocate for all Arizonans as a representative from District 25 in our state legislature and as a member of the Republican Party. I'm pleased to be here today to advocate for common sense immigration solutions that will make sure that employers can find the workers they need and that immigrants, including dreamers, TPS recipients, and farm workers, will be able to fully participate in our economy. We need them. Arizona is a perfect example of why this is so crucial. There are over 36,900 DACA eligible youth residing in Arizona. And as Senator Worsley said, they hold a spending power of $617 million and pay over $180 million in local, state, and federal taxes each year. The removal of close to 37,000 DACA eligible youth would cost Arizona over $410 million. Removing dreamers would also cause an annual GDP loss of $1.3 billion to Arizona's economy. Those are losses we can't afford. Here in Arizona, we've already demonstrated that it's possible to take bipartisan steps to fix our broken system. This past May, I'm proud to have helped lead an effort to advance a ballot initiative that will provide standard in-state college tuition for all students who attend and graduate from an Arizona high school, regardless of immigration status. The ballot initiative would repeal a 15-year-old ban on in-state tuition for undocumented high school graduates including about 2,000 dreamers who graduate from Arizona high schools each year. Since 2006, students without documents have been forced to pay out-of-state tuition rates, effectively depriving them of a college education and limiting their contribution to Arizona's economy. I had the privilege of meeting some of these amazing Arizona youth who have faced difficulties because of our current immigration systems. One example was a young lady named Dea. She was attending Mesa Community College, wanting to become a biomedical engineer. But because she had to pay out-of-state tuition, the rates were much more expensive and she had to work full-time and was only able to take 1 or 2 classes at a time. It's taking her many years to complete what she could have done much faster otherwise. She could have been entering into our economy and as a biomedical engineer by this point, and yet she still has several years left of college. Another great example is Damien. Damien graduated from a prestigious high school in Phoenix, and he wanted to attend Barrett Honors College at Arizona State University. But since he couldn't get in-state tuition, he wasn't able to go, and instead is starting this semester at Harvard. That's the kind of talent that we are losing from Arizona because of our immigration policies. Members of both parties saw the needs that our businesses have for workers. They saw these young people who know no other home than Arizona and came together to pass common sense legislation that is both economically smart and morally right. These dreamers deserve stability for themselves and their families, and so do their employers. I'm doing what I can in my state. I'm looking to my senators, Kirsten Sinema and Mark Kelly, to help lead the way in Congress so that we can finally pass common sense immigration solutions that our dreamers and our employers so desperately need.
Thank you, Representative Udall. I would now like to introduce Iraida Flores. She's an Arizona business owner of Pescadería El Puerto de Guaymas. Welcome, Iraida.
Thank you. My name is Iraida Flores, and I came to United States from Sonora, Mexico, after graduating from my university in 2004 to live the Arizona dream. Both of my daughters were born and raised in Arizona. For the past 20 years, I have had the appropriate education and work visas to remain in the United States. During this time, I'm focused on being an entrepreneur. As owner of Pescadería El Puerto de Guaymas, I own 2 seafood businesses in Phoenix, Arizona and Mesa, Arizona, importing from Guaymas, Sonora. I employ 15 Americans and will soon expand my wholesale business to California and Nevada. I am Arizona-based supplier importing fresh seafood weekly from the Pacific Ocean for wholesale and retail across the state. In addition to my business, I am actively engaged in my community. I went to the White House 2 years ago to meet with the Vice President, Mike Pence, as a Latino entrepreneur and job creator to discuss challenges facing the Latino community. I am also the founder and the president for the first Hispanic Rotary Club in the United States, which gave over $3 million in PPE for nurses, for houses, nursing houses, and also for hospitals in Sonora. As I mentioned, for many years, I have a work permit, but I was recently denied as well. I am now in danger of getting an order of deportation, which will mean losing my business, laying off my 15 employees, and being separate from my USA citizen daughters. It means that I am unable to travel to Mexico to take on new ventures that will allow me to expand my business. If I were able to travel, I will be able to create 8 new jobs for Arizonans tomorrow, including trucks, drivers, accountants, and agents. I am an example of many. Senator Sinema and Kelly, I urge you, lead the way so that this is the year Congress acts to ensure millions of immigrants like me, including dreamers, TPS, residents, essential workers, and entrepreneurs, are able to fully unleash our economic potential and live in our communities with our families without fear. It is time to act. Thank you.
Thank you, Iraida, for sharing your powerful story. I would like to mention that we will have a Q&A after our next speaker, so I ask the press to please submit your questions in the chat. I would now like to introduce Mr. Tom Kelly, the former head of Aetna Medicaid.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly, the former head of Aetna Medicaid and a proud Arizonan. I'm here to let Senator Sinema and Kelly know that as a business leader, an independent voter, a person of faith, I hope that they'll do everything in their power to ensure that this year we pass common sense immigration legislation that will strengthen our economy, spur job growth, improve the stability and the fairness of wages for our workers. Economically, this just makes sense. I worked for 45 years in the healthcare sector, seeing how firsthand how crucial immigrant workers are at every level in healthcare, and not just cafeteria workers and custodians and security personnel and assistants, but doctors and nurses and lots of specialized professionals. They've always been crucial, and without immigrants in the healthcare sector workforce, our health systems today would simply collapse. Just imagine a healthcare system here in Arizona that would have lost 1/6 of its workers in the midst of the COVID epidemic. Many of these people fill absolutely critical positions, are leaders in our clinical and business communities, and have been the essential workers on the front line of the COVID-19 epidemic. This is true in other sectors, of course, of the Arizona economy as well. You know, we have over 1,000 temporary protected status holders here in Arizona who've been here on an average of over 20 years and who have been employed during that entire period of time. 3/4 of our farm workers who handpick the crops that we grow in much more considerable agricultural in Arizona than I had ever imagined. Those in the fields are immigrant workers. And it's not just the economic issue. Probably one of the benefits of retirement, I've had the opportunity to teach English as a second language for the past 4 years. I've gotten to know now hundreds of people who share the determination to make a better life here, to catch up with their kids and in speaking English, to learn how to be more effective with their kids' teachers in their jobs, and the opportunity to become supervisors or business owners themselves. This is, in the end, the American dream, a nation of immigrants, and one that will redound to all of our benefits when they are successful. It's time just to get this done, all right? I have faith that Senators Sinema and Kelly will do everything they can to ensure that this is the year we pass common sense immigration solutions that offer a path to citizenship for dreamers, for TPS recipients, for farm workers, and for essential workers in so many other businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly, for your remarks. It is now time for a Q&A segment. I'd like to ask Senator Worsley, what do you think the chances are that you will be successful in persuading Congress to include immigration solutions and reconciliation, and that the parliamentarian will rule in your favor?
Thank you, Enrique. We are confident that the economic case for common sense immigration solutions that are included today in the language for reconciliation is very, very strong. And the members of Congress will see that, and that the parliamentarian will rule accordingly. I understand that should happen by the end of September. Legalization and citizenship boost economic activity by $121 billion a year. If we get paths to citizenship for dreamers, TPS recipients, farm workers, and essential workers, our federal, state, and local tax revenues will increase by $31 billion each year. No matter what happens, we will keep pushing. The need for these reforms is too great, and members of Congress know that. We'll come back with, even if we have to pass this piecemeal, we will push this until we get results.
Thank you, Senator. What is the next step for this campaign with ABEC?
The next step is that we're going to have a continued steady drumbeat for these common sense immigration solutions. This will include events across the country with business and civic leaders, some of whom you heard from today, and they're directly impacted. And we think that there are people that individually want to tell their stories of how their lives and their livelihood depends on our political leaders doing their jobs. We will do op-eds from leaders across the country and ensure that everyone knows that our full recovery from COVID depends on the legalization of these folks, the dreamers, the TPS holders, the farm workers, the essential workers. We just will not let up until our message is heard loud and clear.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank our speakers today and all the participants who have joined us virtually. I would like to invite the media to please follow up directly with me with any further questions via the email provided in the chat. Thank you all for your time today.
Recording stopped.